Okay, given the naming, we're going to go with wheel support for this next piece, and then probably the stationary arm for this piece, and then the wheel bracket would be the one that it attaches to. So we'll open up a new part. We're still in inches. And let's go with the top plane this time. If we want to use symmetry, go center line. This time I'll go horizontal and infinite length. And doesn't really matter, or shouldn't really matter. So we'll do something like that. And then a window pick from right to left grabs everything, and we can mirror the entities. Okay, so our overall is the 1.38 and 1.5. Alright, and given that this was the 0.69, thinking that this might be the 0.38. So we'll see what that looks like. Well, amazingly enough, we're missing another dimension. So 2.5 and 2.5 for the slot, but then no overall dimension. So that doesn't look like another 2.5, but could be at least another inch. So let's go with an overall of 6 inches. Right, we can always come back and adjust that later. Overall height then is 2 inches. Okay, we'll accept that. And let's see, let's go up a little bit on the zoom. Okay, so radius of 0.44, so diameter of 0.8. It looks like it's on both sides, so we'll wait on that one for just a minute. See if we can come up with a better way to approach that. So the slot through the center is pretty straightforward for knob round. And I grabbed the center point, so we'll need to pull that back just a little bit. And we can either go to the point or to the arc. I still prefer the arcs because of the in condition. So 2.5 and 2.5. So just kind of looking at the scale, might have been 1.5 inches. So if I select the midpoint, I always want this centered. Select the midpoint, make those coincident. And then the radius is 0.5. So features, extrude cut, and we'll just make it through all. So if you decide we want to be a little bit longer on the overall, we'll go up to 6.5. Alright, there's not really enough math to work that back. So I still have a potentially the slot. So if I were to make that endpoint at the midpoint, and we have a overall of 0.5, so I'll go between the two, and then depth-wise, yep, still a stack up of all of those radiuses. So we had the 1.5 as an overall. So if we went back 1.5, 1.25, well, let's see, 1.5, 1.25, and then to 1 inch, so that would be about 0.75. We'll see what that looks like. Okay, and then that will be another extruded cut through all. And okay. So we go from there to there, and the radiuses are 1/4 inch, then yeah, 1/4 inch radius plus another 1/4 inch radius would be the 1/2 inch. So that kind of plays out. We have the 2 hole locations, so we'll go to the hole wizard and 0.25 in 2 places, ANSI inch, through hole. Let's grab the fractional, put it at 1/4 inch, through all should be fine. Positions, smart dimension 0.375, ½ inch from the top, 1 inch between. Okay, and then this one's not going to go defined because at this point it can still move. So we'll go select, control select, and vertical, and then accept. Alright, I started the advanced hole, which is under the hole wizard, and I ran into a little bit of a problem with file locations because I have multiple versions piggybacked on this computer. So I had to find the file location and get that straightened out. So when we do the advanced hole location, we have a top, so our starting location, and we're in inch, and I'm going to use a hex screw, and this will be for 1/4 inch so that it has the through hole. And then we go to customize the sizing. This is our 0.88, and we're going to be 0.25 deep, and then we'll start to see it develop the hole callout. So spot face, diameter. Alright, I need to insert an element below, and that's going to be the through hole. And so 1/4 inch diameter. And for one of the problems I was having was it not terminating correctly, so I need to double check the logic. But if we stop the hole short 0.25, then the third element will be another counterbore facing the opposite way, and that one will have a depth of 0.25, also with a 0.88, and then we need to position. Alright, so I already have a location. Maybe not. Let's go back into the point and place it. Alright, and then we'll double check. So we can go horizontal, and then 0.75 from the end. Alright, so this takes the place, when it works correctly and we have figured out the logic, this takes the place of multiple hole wizard, counterbore, possible sketches. Alright, so we need to double check. If this doesn't show up, then kind of like the hole wizard, there's a profile sketch, and without offsetting the hole location, it pretty much put this geometry on the outside. Alright, so we're going to have to double check the depth, but let's go ahead and start putting in some fillets. Pretty sure I got all of the rest of the geometry. So these are going to be 0.25. So we'll start with just those, just to check the geometry. Okay, so we'll come over and add the fillets 0.25, so that gives me a location for those guys. And the problem here is going to be that it will try to find the tangency and end up with a blend error. So I want to take that last one out. We may have to reorder. So that's kind of the danger, or the warning that comes with the fillets is be prepared to go in segments so that you can control the order of the fillets. So still 0.25. Alright, so if I roll forward, let's see what that does. Alright, so that got a little complicated with all of those edges, so we'll edit the fillet. Let me just clear those out and we'll see which one it's going to allow for. And so it's still finding its way around that way. So that one going over and back. Alright, so tangent propagation needs to be turned off. And we'll see if we can get those to blend out without having to do a more complex face fillet. Alright, so that looks pretty good. We'll roll forward, see how that blends. Alright, and then top and bottom. Alright, so going through and picking all of those faces is going to get fairly complicated pretty fast, so I want to hold those in reserve. Alright, and then the last two fillets will be, I'm drawing here, I'm pretty sure it was a 0.5. So ½ inch on the end. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Looks like our drawing. We'll go ahead and save it and call that one good.